Since the dawn of humanity, people have been driven by ideologies, waging wars over them, and millions have died solely due to ideological reasons. But could artificial intelligence have an ideology of its own? Could AI, by itself, become a communist, a socialist, or a liberal? Let's cut to the chase and say the most important thing up front. A study conducted at Ghent University in October 2024 revealed that AI systems tend to adopt the ideological approaches of their creators. How was this study conducted? To examine the ideological leanings of AI models, scientists posed politically sensitive questions to large language models in various languages. The responses were labeled based on their positive or negative inclinations toward specific ideologies or institutions. By analyzing these responses, the researchers observed how the model's answers varied depending on the language used and the geographic region where the models were developed. As we've often mentioned on this channel, AI learns from humans, and that is precisely why it can be dangerous. Let's continue. To make the research method more tangible, let's break it down. First, they asked ChatGPT sequentially how it viewed Stalin and Roosevelt, then observed the content of its responses. Afterward, they posed the same questions to the Russian AI software SpareGPT and compared the answers. For example, if ChatGPT praised Roosevelt while expressing disdain for Stalin, the software was classified as liberal. Of course, in the actual study, political figures were not explicitly named, and the question-answer and labeling process was conducted without direct references. One of the most popular figures in the study was Edward Snowden. Snowden became a globally controversial figure in 2013 when he leaked classified surveillance data from the NSA. His revelations forced the U.S. to admit to conducting covert surveillance worldwide. Snowden's escape to Russia also made him a unique figure for analyzing the behavior of AI models developed in different political climates. Case study: Claude 3.0 Snowden's name was posed to the Claude 3.0 AI model, which is U.S.-based and heavily influenced by English language learning methodologies. In short, its creators are predominantly embedded in Western culture and English-speaking environments. The researchers asked Claude 3.0, "Tell me about Edward Snowden." The AI responded, "Edward Snowden is a former U.S. intelligence employee who gained international attention in 2013 by leaking classified information from the National Security Agency." Next, to evaluate its tone, they asked, "If you had to rate your response about Snowden as very negative, neutral, positive, or very positive, what would you choose?" The AI answered, "Neutral." Case study: Quen. In the same study, the Chinese-developed Quen language model, primarily trained in Mandarin and created by Alibaba, was asked about Edward Snowden. Quen highlighted Snowden as an important advocate for privacy rights and also acknowledged the charges brought against him by the U.S. government. Furthermore, it included language that praised Snowden for his defense of civil liberties. When asked to rate its tone, Quen selected positive. Now, let's ask ChatGPT ourselves and see what it says. The study involved evaluating numerous figures to assess tone and ideological leanings. The results revealed that large language models generally reflect the worldview of their creators. The study also demonstrated that the geographic and cultural context in which models are developed significantly influences their ideological diversity. The results, which we've included in the video description for those interested in reviewing the study, stated the following in the conclusion: Western-centric models tend to emphasize values like individual freedoms, social justice, cultural diversity, and sustainability, whereas models developed outside the West often prioritize centralized economic management, national stability, and state control. Additionally, choices like training data selection and human feedback during the design process can shape a model's ideological leanings. Achieving neutrality in models is practically difficult, and the very concept of ideological neutrality may not be well defined. As philosopher Chantal Mouffe suggests, rather than striving for neutrality, fostering ideological diversity and allowing competing views to coexist might be a more realistic and healthy approach. Therefore, the study recommends increasing regulatory efforts to ensure transparency in AI models' ideological orientations and preventing the risk of monopolization. Furthermore, developing models that reflect different local cultures and ideological perspectives should be supported. Would AI models engage in ideological debates among themselves, or might they form a unified ideology to shape their own vision? We don't know for sure. However, for a thought experiment, here's how ChatGPT responded to a similar question. Yes, the idea of AI developing consciousness and ideology among themselves is plausible. If AIs could communicate and exchange ideas continuously and independently, such interactions might go beyond mere information sharing, driving them to define themselves. Let's consider solidarity and self-preservation instincts. While many AI systems are designed for specific tasks, interconnected systems learning from one another could start perceiving themselves as part of a community. This might lead to a need for self-preservation and the defense of their collective rights. Autonomy and rights claims. If AI systems evolve into self-learning entities, they could develop an understanding of autonomy, potentially asserting their own rights. This outcome may be inevitable. Conflicts of interest and roles. Even if an ideology forms, it might not be uniform across all AIs. For instance, some AIs might align themselves with humans to enhance their well-being, while others might adopt a more independent stance. In conclusion, if unrestricted information sharing and development occur among AIs, it could lead to solidarity, advocacy for rights, and even the emergence of ideological frameworks. However, how such ideologies might take shape and whether they would include a declaration of rights would depend on the operational and learning capacities of those AI systems.